Here we have the Wotchum W-ATXRX 1K wireless transmitter and receiver. These are used in situations where there's distance involved between the camera and the DVR, which would be either difficult to cable or very expensive to cable between the two. So these give you the option of a wireless function and can save a lot of money because they'll transmit in a line of sight 1 kilometer, this particular one. They are available up to 2.5 kilometers, but we stock the 1 kilometer version. The transmitter, as seen here, has the larger of the two antennas. Screws on the back. It's got a crank in it so that you can have it upright or you can have it directly out. If for instance this was going to be mounted in the weather, you would put this into a weatherproof IP57 or above enclosure. You would drill a hole in the bottom of the enclosure, of course, to let the antenna stick through it. Quite alright in any kind of weather. Some people like to put some heat shrink over that just to help it to be a bit more weatherproof, but even without that it tends to stand up to the weather well. We have power supplies that go with these that plug into the front here. There's a typical one there, that's the one for the receiver, which is a 1 amp. The larger transmission unit uses, we usually supply a 4.17 amp power supply. They're both 12 volt DC. On the other end of the transmitter we have the positions for the cable to plug into. You've got right audio and left audio, video, and then we have channel select here with some small key positions here, 1 to 4, and each, you can have 4 of these operating in close confinement to each other, providing that you set the frequencies by setting the transmitter and the receiver at 1, 2, 3 or 4, but they must all be working on their own frequency. They have encryption and decryption between the transmitter and the receiver. This is the receiver here, which is smaller antenna. Again, if it's going to be mounted outside, you put it in a smaller enclosure, but it must be weatherproof. On the back here we've got the position for the DC in. This would be this small power supply, the 1 amp version. We have on the front the video, the right and the left audio as well. So this has similar to the transmitter, these dip switches if you want to call them, and you must make sure they're both in the same direction for one circuit. If you're using a second one, they'll both be set to number 2. If there are other systems in the close proximity to these are operating on 2.4 gigahertz, but we also stock 5.8 gigahertz units, which will allow you to have up to 16 cameras in the same location operating at the same time. So bigger dip switches on the back obviously. But that's our transmission and reception unit where you're going to actually use them over long distance. Your cameras would plug directly into these. Well, this is the transmitter. Your camera would go into here, and then this one would be wired away to the DVR. Quite often they can be placed behind a wall and it'll still penetrate 1 or 2 walls, but it's a matter of just seeing how things go. If you had trees in the line of sight between, say, a farmhouse and a milking shed or a barn, then you'd like the signal to have line of sight rather than going through trees. Probably work through trees, but once the trees get wet in a severe storm, it can upset the picture. So always try and have it line of sight. So those are good to a 1 kilometer. The 5.8 gigahertz, usually the ones we stock anyway, are for 300 meter range. Thank you.